Well, welcome back. Look who decided to show up back to math. So good to see you guys. I've missed you, and I hope that this semester will be as fun as the last one. And I hope that your past semester you did well and got all your work in and got good grades. So I look forward to working with you guys again. We're going to dive right in here and look at chapter 8. Chapter 8 is all about probability. There are two types of probability you can see here in lesson 8.1. They mention both theoretical and experimental. And so the first part of this, we're gonna look more into the theoretical side of probability. There's some key vocab there that you can see I've listed, and then there's some terms and then some notation. And so your job here is going to be, as we go through this, having an understanding and a working understanding, or if you want a formal understanding of each of these terms. To make it formal, pause the video and go and find these terms in this lesson 8.1 and then maybe give those as a written out in some way definition. Please note that section 8.1, the first part of it, is actually in Canvas under, I believe, the book part 2. And so I'll pull that up here. You can see that. I believe that's in SL Part 2 PDF. It's at the very top of the modules there. So anyway, just make note of that as you're going in and working with this. So let's just look at a couple of these things. First of all, I want to, and I got to tell you, probability is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing in that it's got a lot of fun components to it. And then there are parts that are not so fun because it's kind of counterintuitive to an extent, meaning that your gut instinct is not necessarily the rule. And a lot of times in math, you kind of have that gut instinct about things, and you're mostly right. With probability, it can certainly turn you around. So keep that in mind. That even goes for the experts. We have trouble sometimes with working through some of these ideas. So let's just get right in and just define probability right off the get-go here. So the probably the best definition is determining how likely something is to happen. So probability takes on those ideas of chance. What are the chances this is going to take place? What percent of something would you expect to happen? And so we'll just do a quick definition, and I'm going to take it out to the side here because I can't write that small in that area. But we'll say probability is, calculating likelihood. Now, this is not the formal definition, but this is the working definition. So if you want to know, what is it that something like, what are my chances of winning the lottery, let's say, that's determining a probability. So let's look at a couple of questions. This will get us going. Then we'll come back and refer to a lot of this other stuff. I want you to look at these first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. And I want you to actually pause the video, look at these questions, and in your mind, give some kind of answer and make an estimate. If you want to put a percentage in there or 1 out of kind of thing, go for it. All right, so hopefully you looked at these. I think some of them are kind of funny. Some of them are like literally, something you'd want to know. But how likely are you to see a grizzly bear in your backyard? How likely are you to get a hole-in-one if you're playing golf? What are the chances of rolling a 13 with a pair of dice? What are the chances of walking in the sun today? What's the likelihood you'll take a breath in the next 15 seconds? Now, each of these scenarios, they're obviously dependent on certain things, and we got to take out the dependence part of things. And what I mean by that, let's look at the second one. How likely are you to get a hole-in-one in golf? Well, that depends on your skill level and your experience. So if you're an avid golfer and you play 60 rounds a year, your chances of getting a hole in one are way better than the person who's never picked up a club. So, those are things that we leave out of these scenarios, so to speak. So let's look at the first one. Grizzly bears are not indigenous to the Yakima Valley. In fact, they are way far north of here. So your chances of seeing a grizzly bear in the backyard probably has a lot to do with whether the traveling zoo has come through Yakima. And then the chances that in the traveling zoo, the grizzly bear broke out of its cage and ended up in your backyard. So it's not likely that that is going to take place, but is it impossible? And that's the next step to it. Is it impossible? Like, is there a 0% chance that it's going to be in the backyard? Probably not. Is it really close to zero? Probably. All right. And so let's look at the third one. What are your chances of walking in the sun today? Well, I'll tell you what, your chances of walking in the sun today are way better than if you were living in the North Pole. So again, I know we're supposed to leave some of that out. Yakima has a lot of days of sun. Your chances of walking in the sun today, probably greater than 50%, I would say. I'm just in general. All right. And then the third one, I think I called that the third one. That's the fourth one. But let's go back up to the third one. It's like, well, what are the chances of rolling a 13 when you roll a pair of dice? Guys, this one is absolutely certain. You have 0 chance of rolling a 13. The sum of the dice being 13. It ain't happening. Never will it happen. Now, you could say, well, wait a minute. How many sides are to the dice? Well, that would probably need to be in there to be more specific. But standard, dice, 6-sided die, your chances of getting a 13 would be 0. Okay, so that kind of sets the stage. I hope you took a little bit of time to look at those and kind of think them through a little bit. Now I have 3 follow-up questions to that. Which of these is most likely? That would be something you'd want to answer for yourself, and just use your gut instinct there. Are any of them 100% certain? We 100% know that you're not going to get. So there's 0% chance of you getting a 13 when you roll a pair of dice. And that actually answers the third one there. Do you have 0 chance or no chance of something taking place? So, this last one here, what's the likelihood that you're going to take a breath in the next 15 seconds? Well, unless you're holding your breath, again, taking that out, like regular breathing, I'd say that's pretty close to 99% chance, unless you got struck by lightning, or you fell off a very, tall bridge. You're more than likely going to be taking a breath in the next 15 seconds. So anyway, hey guys, have fun with it. That's a good little introduction, good starter. We will talk more about the specifics with each of these vocab terms and some of the notation and the calculations that go along with this section. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.